I'm just going to say a few words to kind of give a sense of what our family has gone through with two people with type 1 diabetes. My son, as you heard, was diagnosed about 3 years ago, and his life changed in an instant when we found out about his blood sugars. We slowly adjusted to a new normal thanks to a lot of help that we had from the fantastic doctors and nurses at the University of Iowa. So thank you to those individuals. We can't appreciate you guys enough for everything that you do, and those quarterly appointments that we have just reset us and energize us. We were helped a lot by what happened when Sachin went to 5th grade. He was diagnosed about 3 weeks before 5th grade started. And we just thought, we've had him for 3 weeks, but now we're gonna set him loose into the classroom, and how will we manage him, and how will we know how to handle his blood sugars when he's not with us? And through some stroke of luck, it turned out that his 5th grade teacher actually had a son that had type 1 diabetes. And she had already dealt with all the things that go along with managing blood sugars for years at that point, and we just felt like that was such a perfect thing for us and gave us a lot of comfort. And he also had his best friend Emerson in that class, who's here today, and has supported him, as have his parents. And we really appreciate all the support that he's given basically since day one. Our family is here today too, our whole family is here, and we really appreciate you guys coming out, and they've been there from the beginning. Phone calls and countless times of discussing things and trying to figure things out. They've really been helpful. Roopa's mom has been absolutely amazing. She took on the challenge of trying to understand type 1 diabetes when she really had no idea of it. We explained it as best we could, and she just took on the challenge. She knew she could handle it. She could take it on and handle his blood sugars, and if we were ever away, she had no problems. She would come down from Waterloo and take care of him as well as we would. So Nani, I know you don't do it for the thank yous, but thank you. So a year goes by and we've slowly started adjusting to the new normal. There were some good days and there were a lot of very difficult days, but they were okay, we were managing. But as you heard, about a year after that, Roopa found out about her type 1 diagnosis. And we were shocked, we were saddened, we were extremely devastated to find out the news. We kind of felt like, we've already got one, we're good, we don't need any more right now. You go ahead and take that back. She's already taken care of somebody, now she's gonna have to deal with that herself. And it seemed like it was just too much. Roopa is the superhero in our family. She's the one who has that light, that spirit, that intensity, that always wants to reach out. If there's an easy way, let's not do the easy way. Let's do the more fun but exciting and more challenging way. She's that person. But in that moment, I remember being in the kitchen with her when she saw that number, and you can kind of see that spark going away for a little while. And it's really hard to think about that day. And I just wondered what would happen. Would we ever get back to the point where we would take on these challenges, these hard things, these fun things? Would she be the same again? It took some time to start getting back to normal. And I would say one big thing that happened for Roopa was starting to feel some sense of empowerment. She did this by getting in touch with JDRF. She did this by starting to feel like she wanted some say in how the medical treatments were gonna go. There's obviously a lot of standard ways to do things, but there's some decisions that you can make, and she wanted to make these decisions for herself. And there was a doctor in the Quad Cities who supported her and supported her treatments, even if it wasn't the most obvious or easy route. And she started getting that spark back. And she started to feel that I'm not gonna take it easy. I'm gonna take this thing on. And she decided one way of doing that would be to run the Bix race in Davenport. It's a 7-mile race. She hadn't run it before, But now having been diagnosed with diabetes, she decided this is a perfect time to do it. And she did it. And as you may have seen, she did it again the following year with Sachin when they ran it together. But I have to say, the thing that's really changed her the most and allowed us to get back to where we are, where we can start functioning again in the same way that we were, or close to the same way as we were, is a sense of hope. A hope that she started to develop by the endless conversations with our JDRF families that we have in the Quad Cities, with a lot of the people that are in this room, by devouring books, listening to endless podcasts, having many conversations, reading research articles. She started to get really excited about the technologies and the treatments that were coming along. She started to understand that there are hundreds of scientists and medical doctors who are working tirelessly to bring treatments and ultimately a cure for type 1. So with that hope, she started to kind of get that spark back, and it was something that has stayed with me to see her kind of coming back to the person that she was. So I just want to end by saying thank you for supporting our families and countless others. I think we are eventually going to get back, as we have an alarm going off right now, going back to eventually getting to a treatment. And it's going to let my son speak a little bit too.
Sachin!
I have been diagnosed for 3 years now. It has been 3 days since I changed my Omnipod.
Yeah.
And it has been 3 minutes since I wrote this speech. I don't really know what others could tell, but getting diagnosed was really a challenge for me. I can still remember the day that I was diagnosed in the hospital. A resident came to the room I was in and said that he had been diagnosed as a kid and that I could really still be whatever I wanted to when I grew up. And after he left, I turned to my mom and I asked, he must be at least 22 and he still has it? That was the moment I learned that my life had changed forever. Things definitely got a little better as time went on, as I got a CGM and an insulin pump. I eventually learned that the reason I had those was because of the JDRF. They're also a way that my friends and family can support me through events such as the walk. They're a way for me to meet many other diabetics. Most importantly, they're a good way to get a new t-shirt each year. I really appreciate everybody here who has donated or just showed up tonight. You are the reason that diabetics' lives will improve and the reason we will find a cure. Thank you and good night.